Okay, good afternoon, everyone here, anyone watching us. It's October 27th, 2022, I think 4:01 at this point. As usual, I'm going to call the regular monthly meeting of the Jefferson County Health Department Board of Trustees to order. And again, as usual, it's being live broadcast and also is available for people to look at their leisure. It's recorded. And so, having said that, I'm going to call the meeting to order. Give a roll call, please.
Mr. Deal,
Here.
Dr. Henry,
Here.
Mr. Prater,
Here.
Mr. Peg,
Here.
Ms. Davis.
Here.
Okay, so we have one member attending virtually. Everyone else is here, so we have a quorum. And Dr. Henry, did you want to read the mission and vision, or should we do it here? Okay.
I can do it if it's coming in okay.
Sounds good to me.
All right. The mission is JCHD will champion positive health outcomes and behaviors through innovative programs and community engagement. The vision is advancing the health and safety of Jefferson County.
Okay, thank you. So, first order of the day is approval of the agenda. Everyone got a copy of that. Can I have a motion
to approve.
Second. So we have a motion and a second to approve the agenda. Any discussion? Okay, hearing none, the proposed agenda is approved. Oh, I'm sorry. All in favor of approving the agenda as approved? Yes.
Aye.
Aye.
All right.
I,
Okay, so proposed agenda is approved by a 5-0 vote. All right, I'm sorry. So next we have approval of minutes and expenditures. First approval is for the minutes of the August 4th, 2022 meeting. Mr. Pig was not in attendance. Everyone else here was. So can I have a motion and second to approve those minutes?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, motion and second. Any discussion on that? Okay, so all in favor of approving those minutes, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Tim abstains, so those are approved. Ms. Davis, did you vote? I didn't hear you.
yes, I did.
Okay, thank you. So those are approved 4-0. Next we have approval of the August 25th, 2022 meeting minutes. All the board members are present for that one.
Second.
Get a motion and a second to approve those. Any discussion? Okay, hearing none, all in favor of approving the August 25th board meeting minutes, please say aye.
Aye.
I,
Okay, those are approved. Next is approval of the September 22nd tax rate meeting minutes. Dr. Henry was not in attendance at that meeting. Everyone else was here. So can I have a motion and second to approve those?
Motion to approve. Second.
Okay, any discussion? Okay, so all in favor of approving the tax rate meeting minutes, please say aye.
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 Okay, those pass 4-0. And then we have the regular board meeting on September 22nd. Again, Dr. Henry wasn't here. Can I have a motion?
Make a
Second,
motion, we approve the September 22nd minutes.
Second.
motion and second to approve those. Any discussion? Okay, so all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so those pass 4-0. Thank you for that. Okay, so we have approval of expenditures. First is the expenditures for September 2022. Amount I have for those is $268,927.45.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, so we have a motion second to approve those expenditures. Any discussion on those?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, ma'am.
I'm noticing that the legal expenses this month are extremely large at $11,000. And I just want to continue to bring this to the board's attention that we need to get these legal fees down. There's a lot of correspondence going on between the director and the attorney that probably could be lessened, I would say. She doesn't probably need to talk to Christy Coleman as often as she does. And I'd like to see those go down, you know, we need to get down to where, like it was a year ago.
Thank you, Ms. Davis. That's your opinion. Any other discussion? Okay, so I have a motion second to approve those expenditures. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
I'm in opposition.
Okay. Approved 4-1. Approval of September 2022 electronic payments. The actual amount on those was $531,612.43.
Make a motion to approve all expenditures.
Second.
Okay, so I have a motion second to approve those payments. Any discussion on those? Okay, hearing none. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay,
Anybody opposed?
can I ask a question in discussion? Sorry, I should have caught you quicker, but is that where the Aspen charges are at also as well?
Where what?
The Aspen charges? And is it in that set of paperwork or is it the prior one?
Aspen charges are mostly paid by check, so they're kind of the prior one.
In the prior one. I just want to make a comment that, you know, just so the public knows, there's another 45,000, almost twice paid again to that entity. And remains to be seen what that's going to do for our county. We'll see.
Are
Sounds like a
you
lot of
gonna
money.
judge what it's doing? I hope not.
Sir, I'd like to just make note that all Aspen development and expansion is covered underneath grants that the agency has received. The agency has not paid any property tax dollars towards the development of Aspen at this time.
I'd just like to make a note, we've repeated that exact same statement the last 3 or 4 or 5 meetings, so.
Well,
I thought we had seen some really good progress in our report from that program too, so.
Yeah.
Okay, refresh my memory. Did we vote on that?
Yes, we're good.
We did vote on it.
We need to approve the electronic payments. Pre-approval for November. I make a motion that we make a pre-approval of the November 2022 expenditures for November, 605, estimated to be $605,237.25.
Second.
Okay, so a motion second to approve those. Any discussion?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
So those expenditures is that something about a future budget? I mean, November's not here yet, so so this is stuff we're planning on spending in November?
Mr. Chairman, if I may.
Yes.
This, we've done these pre-approvals since she's been on the board. So we always pre-approve a month out. Do you
Right.
read your board packet?
Right, so, in that pre-approval, what are we pre-approving on the legal fees?
We don't pre-approve legal fees.
Okay,
You can read the packet and see it.
that answered my question, thanks.
The reason we pre-approve some payments is so that they're not paid late
Right.
and incur a fee.
I totally
So we're
understand
trying to
that.
be good stewards of the taxpayers' money.
Yes,
Okay, so I think we had a motion second to approve that estimated amount. Any other discussion? Okay, all in favor, please say aye. Anyone opposed? Okay, that passes 5-0. Director's report is next on the agenda.
Under the director's report. So, nothing to report this time. It's for new business.
Okay. And old business is the next, is the next agenda item, and there's nothing there. So we have new business to discuss. And do you want to speak to those,
We need,
Director Ballmer?
we need a motion. What you speak to it or not?
Hmm?
You're talking about the holiday schedule?
Well, do you want to speak to those items?
We're just requesting the same holidays as we do for each year.
I make a motion, we approve the holiday schedule for 2023.
These are basically the same as the state.
Yes,
Correct.
So.
As it is listed in your packet. so-
Yeah. Second.
So those are the state holidays, which we've done for quite some time. Okay, so so we have a motion and second?
yes.
Okay, any discussion on those, on that?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
With the, health department being closed on Fridays, if there's any Fridays near those holidays, so that we give them, what, a 4-day weekend? At the same amount of pay, what about the people that are needing services? How will we make that up so that they're still at least working a 4-day week?
So the only place I'm looking would be in November, that we would be looking at a potential Friday date. Thanksgiving is traditionally a day off for everyone, so the Thursday date would be a normal holiday for everyone. As well as for Veterans Day. We have traditionally varied these holidays for a number of years. People are used to the holidays, as well as it's the same holidays as county and state and all other government agencies take. So there's nothing different. in
So wouldn't
ours
we,
to others.
so what I'm thinking is, wouldn't it make sense that we would work on a Friday?
I'd
Yeah,
like to
on
call the
holiday,
vote.
work on
She's
the
trying to
Friday,
go
still
on.
give the public 4 days that week of services.
Call the vote, please.
Okay, so the motion second to approve that. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed?
Myself,
Okay, that passes 4-1. So next is a review of the 2021 audit.
You all should have received a copy of the audit, both recently as well as in hard copy today. We had a clean audit, with no findings.
Do you have any comments?
Same with Kelly. We don't have the findings.
Sorry, I stole her thunder.
is the audit on the holdings and so on and so forth, or is it on the actual budget and books?
It is on all of our
I'm waiting for
financials
that.
for 2021.
In our,
That's right. That's right.
year and
quite extensive and quite in depth.
how come we don't get this in advance of this meeting?
You
Like,
did.
mailed to us or something?
You received it instead of us.
No, mailed in a hard copy to us, so we can
Because
look
we
at it.
hand it to you here at the meeting.
I just would ask that the rest of the board would ask that we would receive this at least a week in advance. We could go over it ourselves before we're asked to do anything about it.
We're not doing about it.
We're not gonna.
No, this is the
Yeah.
investigation that he did to make sure that all the spending and everything we're doing here is.
Gotcha.
Okay,
So-
we're good.
so
That's
we
just
can
a
keep it
report.
now.
Yeah.
And we're not voting on anything to do with it.
No, ma'am,
That's suffices.
that's just a report for your information, right?
We're all glad it's your approval.
And then
I'm happy to have it. Thank you. I'm making sure we have this. Thank you.
the last thing is the approval of the preliminary 2023 JCHD budget, which was also sent to you. We have, Crystal has put together a preliminary budget. Underneath the 2023 budget, she also has broken it down and done a budget summary for you, so you can see last year's approved budget compared to this year's proposed budget. And a preliminary budget drill down, so if you're interested in knowing what is under foundation grants or underneath our federal contracts, she has those listed. It's very helpful. We are asking for approval of the preliminary budget in the amount of $9,362,652.
What was the decrease mainly around?
The decrease, let me go back on page.
Was it incoming grants,
Incoming grants, for the most part, yeah.
basically? Okay. Is that gonna affect any FTE positions?
No.
Okay.
I would point out though, the grants still are probably, a little over 40% of our budget, or right around 40% of the budget, so it's good. We're not completely taxpayer funded. I think that's fair.
Hey, Kelly, what's the timing on sending a final budget to the county? If we approve this preliminary budget, are we approving or do we approve a final budget? I don't remember that.
We do. So Kristen, the preliminary is due.
Well, they need it, by October 31st. So after I leave here, I'll be sending this on to Christie on call. The final, budget, we'll have another budget, but this is preliminary. We'll probably bring another one to you in November, at latest December, but.
That way we can go ahead and incorporate any individual grants that have come in, updates to contracts. We can make sure that like everything is included that we can put into it as far as the information.
Okay.
I make a motion we approve the preliminary budget as presented.
Second.
And I know we have some decreases in some of our expenses, but I don't want to just focus on revenue, but just for my information, so got a $238,000 some dollar decrease in foundation trust grants. What's that from?
Remember which grants we didn't get. I think it's just from, ones that weren't renewed, they were just a one-time grants. They're not renewable.
From the Jefferson County Foundation?
From different foundations, Jefferson County is one of them, but the. Other ones were in there last year.
So a lot of it, this is one of those situations where we've written for not the grant, but we don't know if we've received the next round yet.
Right.
So it would likely be reflected in final approved budget, but at this point in time, I can't. because we don't know.
Okay, no, that's fine. What about the state contract? $311,000.
So the state contracts and the federal contracts will kind of, fluctuate because of the percentages that the pass through the state gives us. That should be federal and that should be state. So it's just more of a reflection of how they had to unreported this time.
Okay, and that's timing too, I think, sometimes, right?
It's both those things.
Okay. And Medicare, Medicaid payments are down and insurance payments are down. So are we seeing less folks?
So what's happened is, if you remember, over the past year, what we're looking at is, and correct me if I'm wrong, Kristen, but looking at in terms of our actuals. And so we've been impacted by COVID in terms of long-term care facilities and schools and whatnot. We're not being able to get back into them for a full year like we would have been able to before. So we're adjusting our revenues so that we are only allocating revenue for what we believe we know we can bring in based on last year. It could be higher.
Okay,
You notice that telephone and telecommunications expenses went down by over half.
yeah, that's James said telephone and telecommunications has gone down as an expense, by over half. How's that happen? I know we got a new system, right?
Part of that is new system, part of that is a difference in companies and what was that?
Implementation hit it a lot this last year. So the first one-time costs are over with.
Right, okay, great.
The winds and one stream as with our telecommunications, so.
Okay,
even that.
it's good to me. Any other discussion?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, ma'am.
just wondering what the rest of the board thinks about, the legal expenses on this is, being allowed is $108,000. And, a year ago, before we adjusted our budget up so high for legal expenses, we did what? A ninth of that, a tenth of that for our legal budget, maybe 12,000 a year instead of 110,000, 108,000. Shouldn't we adjust that back?
I'm trying to.
We need a
Can I make a
council for the meetings and occasional, legal.
Ms. Davis, can you give Kristen an opportunity to respond, please?
So we do have some ongoing legal expenses that we didn't have prior, regarding the building. We will have legal expenses with that. We also have, programs that require us to confer with a lawyer, like Aspen. They will have it in their budgets to have legal fees as well. So we do need to take into consideration, the legal fees that we believe we will incur just as an agency and things that we'll have for like the building and for some of our funding sources and grants.
Well, I've been kind of watching, the details of it, and there's a lot of correspondence, a lot of legal back and forth with our director to the attorney, and I think that needs to be cut back. I think we're a lot of our money that we had last year, or like we've been discussing, is either dried up or not with us as like it was, and would be wise to be sure that we cut back as well on the legal expenses. I believe 2 lawsuits or whatever are over with too as well. Not that they really drove it up that much, because it wasn't that much that was done with them.
Is this all theory, or do you have fact to present with this argument?
Well,
Because it sounds like conjecture and theory.
James. And
Well, I mean, it's what I'm referring to is it sounds like you're full of shit, to put it technically.
about what?
Everything
Be-
you're saying,
be
you're
specific.
just repeating yourself month to month to month to month. That's all you're doing. You're just repeating.
Well,
yourself. You're not
$108,000
bringing up
legal
anything
fees.
new. You're not bringing anything new
For
to the
the
table.
upcoming budget year is a lot of money compared to what we used to spend.
Yeah, great. That was in the past. And then we've had
$12,000.
several lawsuits. We get bombarded with sunshine requests all the time. And for somebody to propose a budget, they need to base that somewhat off the previous year and the previous year before that to come up with a total
We
for the
wouldn't
next
be
year to
getting
project.
so many sunshine requests if it were.
If you weren't so full of shit to everybody, yes, we understand.
Can we call?
The information that people ask that instead of asking the attorney if they, what they should do, they should just provide the.
We have a
information.
legal obligation not to provide personal health information, Ms. Davis.
They're
we
not
have
asking
to
for personal
consult-
health information.
You don't get it.
You're on a board. Paul,
I do have one question. Percentage wise, that's about 1% of the budget, correct?
oh, no, you're
Oh,
not.
well,
Of the legal
They
fee?
can be calculator.
It's $100,000, we're,
Right now, we're looking at, just looking at the legal
Percentage?
expenses, which are included in your, for the September expenses of the $11,000, over 6,000 of that was for the.
no, I'm talking about the budget,
Okay,
because we're
sorry,
900,000, we're 9 million,
correct. Okay, so that's.
and you're $100,000.
Yeah, it's about 1%.
Okay, so just if I may have the floor, please. That is extraordinarily low from what I'm used to, as far as lawyer fees. Not that you need to raise them, but I think it's not anywhere out of the order for only being 1%. Most of the time, you're gonna find legal fees much higher than an organization. So all I'm gonna say, thank you. sir.
I'd like to do some research with the council and maybe other health departments and see where the fees are running. And I do think that we need to curtail ours and get it back down to normal. So
You
I
don't, you
made a
don't,
comment.
you don't know what normal is, Ms.
I get
Davis.
that.
You
But we
don't
do
know
need to get
what
them down.
normal is, Ms. Davis.
Well, I know that our department historically
Yeah.
has only had, until just a year ago,
So we have. to
spent 12
approve.
to 15,000 a year max.
You know, we've gone through a worldwide pandemic.
Oh, yeah, and it's over. It's
It's
an
not-
endemic.
You see how many people died this month, ma'am?
So let's
Wait,
let's
we do
let's
this
don't get
every
into
year. It's called virus and flu season.
let's
Can I speak for a second about, so I think it's important for the public to understand the types of projects that have been taken on by the board over the course of last year. We completely revamped your employee handbook and did a training to make sure that you were compliant with the law. Your previous handbook did not guarantee all of that. We provided extensive training for the staff on what the new handbook and the operations manual say. We got sued. We don't have a choice in that matter. You know, if you're the defendant, you have to defend yourself. We also did.
We also got into a lawsuit we didn't need to get into. that
Ms. Davis, if you're out of order, Ms. Davis, if you're out of order, Ms. Davis, you're out of order.
Be rude and
If you're gonna mention that, Chrissy, be sure you mention that as well.
You're out of
Actually,
order.
this thing's gonna be out of my mouth, 'cause I
Oh, good.
wanna be
Go for it.
candid to make sure there's actually accurate information given out. We also did join into a suit where we spent, in comparison to what was actually spent as a whole on that appeal, less than 10% of what the leading appellants spent. It
We
also
didn't need to be in that
Yeah.
Ms.
lawsuit.
Davis, you're out of order.
The
Please
board
stop.
instructed me to stay within a particular budget for that case, and I did. We also have had to undertake legal expenses for purchase of the land and development of the new building. There is also the work being done for Aspen that is 100% grant funded. It is not coming out of the pockets of this board or this community. So I think it's very important, ma'am, that whenever you're talking about legal expenses, that you are giving out accurate information to the public. I know that I've seen a lot of your social media posts and they're not accurate. I'm happy to talk with this board in closed session about what the fee structure is, what gets billed. If they want to spend time doing that, I'm fine doing that. It is a cost of doing business, ma'am. So whenever you want to purchase large amounts of land, or you want to undertake personnel projects, or you find yourself in the position of defending yourself in a lawsuit, it's a cost of doing business. Thank you.
I, for one, am very tired of discussing this over and over every month.
I'm just
While you
curious
may-
what our
while you
county
may
council spent on legal fees.
accusations
I'm gonna check that out,
That
just-
we're
just for
spending
comparison.
money that we should
Kind of
not
curious
be
myself.
spending. It's ridiculous, Ms.
We
Davis.
just don't wanna, we
It's-
don't want to
It's a joke.
use the county council, the counselor as
preliminary budget, sir.
Yeah.
a sounding board, because it's very expensive to do
Call
that.
the question of approving the preliminary budget.
The county councilor doesn't represent this board, ma'am. It's a completely separate entity.
I'm talking about Kelly.
All in favor of
Checking with
approving
you on
the
everything.
preliminary budget as written, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
I'm opposed.
On what grounds?
on the legal fees that are being proposed.
Thank you. Okay. Looks like we have some closed session business to conduct.
Make a motion, if we're ready, I make a motion, we go into closed session.
Second,
610.021 regarding the hiring, firing, discipline, and promoting of particular employees in Jefferson County Health Department. Where personal information about the employees disclosed or recorded, as well as protected records, disclosure by law. Is that covered?
Okay, so we have that motion. A second, please.
second,
Okay, I'm sorry, Amber, thank you. Any discussion on that? We have a roll call, please.
Mr. Deal,
Yes,
Dr. Henry,
yes.
Mr. Prater,
Yes.
Mr. Pick,
Yes.
Ms. Davis.
Yes.